Welcome to the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi. May the Force be with you.
Looky, Senator. Decent Jedi arriving.
Let's make this our best show ever!
I will sign no treaty, Senator.
I am the Senate.
This is the way.
Hello, Star Wars fans, and welcome to Positive Star Wars Chat, because this is the Positively Star Wars Senate podcast, brought to you by the Power of the Force and A Little Hope from Mobius Studios. This is episode number 74, and this is being recorded on 29th of June, 2025. And yeah, before we get started today, let's hear a little quick word from our sponsors.
Oh boy, I've reached Millennium Falcon. The Force is with you.
You too can play the space fantasy Star Wars game Escape from Death Star. Be the first to help Luke and Leia, Han Solo, and Chewbacca escape from the garbage dump and reach the safe Rebel base. The Force can also be against you.
Back to the trash compactor.
You spin to get past TIE fighters.
I win! All right!
Escape from Death Star. It comes complete with everything you see here. New from Kenner, from the Star Wars collection.
Thank you to our sponsors for keeping the lights on and our Disney Plus subscriptions filled and helping our Star Wars Unlimited card collecting habit stay up to date. So, my name is Senator Ricky. I am your host for this episode for today, and I am not alone. I'm joined with my fellow hosts from this side of the pond. Stephen couldn't be here today. So we have Senator Ron.
Greetings and salutations, fellow senators.
We have Ryan.
Hello there.
And we have Marie.
Hello.
Hello, everyone. And today we have kind of a smaller session today, but we just thought we'd try to kick off some Star Wars topics. So yeah, we thought it'd be kind of cool just to go and pick a topic for today, just so we can have something cool to talk about. So it's summertime. We're all spending time indoors because it's the heat. I know I am, because it's like 115 out there. But we thought it'd be cool to talk about Star Wars board games. Marie was mentioning that she was thinking of picking up Star Wars Villainous, and me and Ryan have been playing that for a while, and I think Ron has a couple of sets too. So, yeah, and then I have like tons of Star Wars board games myself. Me and my daughter play all the time. I have like old ones, new ones that were old, and old ones that were new. So, yeah, Marie, have you picked up Villainous yet? Or
I have not. I actually am going to do a Target run today because I have some stuff to pick up. I might as well throw in the order for Villainous before I go and just pick it up and go. I just wanted to do the basic set.
The basic set.
For now.
That's the one with Vader.
Yeah, I think that's the easiest one to get into because it has, I think, 5 characters. And they're all some of them are more difficult, but then a lot of them are really easy. Like Grievous is probably the easiest one to win with. It's basic, just beat the heroes. Do you need a rundown on how it works or anything? We can kind of just touch on Villainous and Villainous news here to start off. Do you have an idea how it works? What got you into Villainous for Star Wars board games, I should say?
I kind of do, but what got me into it was you guys, actually. I'm interested in kind of seeing if I could play it online with you guys. I don't have anybody to play with over here.
Yeah, we haven't tried doing it. We haven't tried doing it yet, but I think we probably could, Ryan.
Yeah, because, the way it works is we all play with our own, I guess this is more to Marie and everyone, we all play with our own board. So we have our board in front of us, and you really don't interact with the other person whatsoever.
Yeah.
Except for if you kind of, AKA, attack the other board, but it's you draw their hero cards. Because remember, you're playing as the villain. That's why it's Vader, Massage, and all that. So that's the kind of fun thing. So the only interaction is you maybe draw 2 of the hero cards and you choose where to place them. But if it's being played over the screen, you can easily just be like, okay, draw your top 2 cards, show them to me. Okay, I'm going to put them on this board. So, and when you put them on their board, it covers 2 of the actions because each spot has 4 actions. And realistically, you can just totally ignore the other player and play by your, and just do your own thing. And if someone attacks you, you just kind of got to work around it. But there's some generally easier heroes like Vader and Grievous that you can play with. That's they both win pretty easily, and they're pretty simple. And then there's more complicated heroes like Phasma in the later sets, and Boba. That's a lot more work involved. But that's why I think the first set is basically the best.
Ron, do you have
the easiest?
Do you have any of the sets? Do you have the? Have you
You're funny, right? You know exactly. Yeah. So I own Villainous. I don't think I've cracked the seal on any of them yet.
But you have the main one that has Darth Vader on the cover, though, right?
Haven't anyone to play? Yeah. I have that, and then I have the expansion pack with right. There was from a collectability standpoint is why I own it. Right. There was a Boba Fett sort of skinned or themed expansion pack. Ryan, I'm kind of fishing for you to help me out. And there was a common one. But then there was a sort of a Target exclusive one that had a blaster hole slip cover thing, whatever. It didn't really advertise or otherwise say that it was anything different inside, but I seem to remember that one, which will be hard to find now because that was a couple years ago when that was a thing. That one had exclusive tokens or exclusive characters or something special inside of it, right? And then they've recently done another expansion of sorts with Maul, I think.
Correct. So Target has, and I guess they just have this deal with Ravensburger, who makes Villainous, that they have official Target versions, and it comes with one different mover. So most movers are kind of clear or decorated a certain way, where the Boba Fett one is like a matte finish, so you can't see through it, and it's brushed silver. It looks really good. And then there's a Maul one, and the Maul one is faded black and red, like it fades from black to red instead of all just like I think.
Was it all red? I don't remember what it was.
But did the Maul one have, like, you say the Target exclusive, well, you could find Villainous elsewhere, but it was that slipcase with the blaster hole Boba Fett one that was Target exclusive. But it said nothing about Target exclusive. Is that true of the Maul expansion one? Is there a Target one that has a slip cover of some sort that has a different token in it than elsewhere?
Yeah, the Maul one is the Maul regular, because you can get it at Walmart and stuff like that, but only Target has the slip cover. And like you said, Boba Fett looks like James Bond, like he's blasting a hole in the cover. And then Maul looks like a Sith holocron, so it's a big triangle opening, and it looks like a Sith holocron. So the slip covers are definitely really cool. And the figure is either solid red for regular or it's faded red to black. I was kind of bummed on that one because I was hoping it would be Phasma painted silver, but I guess now that I look at it, I guess the cover character always gets the specialty. And if you really want to screw up some collecting, Ron, the original version does not have a slip cover Target exclusive. But if you find the Ravensburger puzzle, so like a 1,000-piece puzzle board, they're kind of hard to find now. I've only seen one once in like the 5 years it's been out. If you find the puzzle, it comes with a separate collectible mover for Darth Vader.
What?
That's the only way to get the Darth Vader specialty figure. So if you really want to go
okay, so I might have to put it in the chat. I have to find it to put in the chat. This puzzle that has a special Villainous mover piece, but it says it on the puzzle that it contains this special piece.
Yeah, I've only seen it once, but Ravensburger is like a big puzzle company. They probably make half the puzzles that people see. But it'll say Ravensburger in the corner, and then it'll literally have a Vader mover. And I don't own it, so I can't say what it looks like or anything.
Hey, what's the puzzle?
How about you only seen it once? Seen it in the wild Walmart, Target type of thing, or in a hobby store of sorts?
I want to say it was a Target is the only place I've seen it. So I don't know if it's a Target exclusive, but
was it a puzzle of like the cover of the game or what? What was the picture of the puzzle?
I can't say for 100%. I'm looking it up now.
Okay. I didn't know if it was like a SpongeBob puzzle and then it comes with Darth.
That would be random.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to figure it's a Star Wars puzzle of some sort, or just what it. But yeah, no, I'll keep an eye out for it because I didn't know that Target puzzle section during COVID.
There's one with a Maleficent figurine for Disney Villainous.
Yeah, the Disney ones have some too. I think that was the first thing. That was the first one they did was like the puzzles, and then they started to do the slipcases.
But the gameplay for Villainous is relatively, it's more than a 2-player game, and it's relatively quick action back and forth, and the games are completed quickly, or it's a bit of a thinker? What's the gameplay for it?
It's a bit of a thinker. It's like a long play game. I think on the box it says it takes maybe like 45 minutes to an hour for like 2 people, but if you're brand new, it does take a little longer learning the mechanics of the game. That's why it's kind of good to start with like the main set if you're going to begin, because the other expansions kind of build off the game mechanics, so you got to get it down pat before you can like expand to the other characters.
And then there's the Vader main set, and that's all that's been released in the way of a main set.
Yeah, so all the expansions that they usually do are, oh no, it's kind of different for the Star Wars ones, but yeah, basically they're just adding characters and adding different things. I think once they probably get like another set out, they'll probably set up a new like main one. All
right, so the only thing, if somebody wanted to get into Villainous, the only thing to purchase, or the only thing available at the moment, no store is going to have all 3 things or whatever, but is that main sort of big square-looking box that's got Vader on it, and then the 2 sort of smaller rectangular-shaped box that is the Fett expansion and the Maul expansion.
Yeah, because the main ones come with the big, like, kind of like a cauldron kind of thing you put in the middle of the table, and that holds your tokens and all that stuff. There's like little like cardboard points, things that you have to like put on your board. So like the main sets come with that plasticky round cauldron thingy. If you buy the expansion, they usually don't come with those, but they do come with like the cardboard tokens. So
yeah, I just keep mine like in a little cup container anyway, so you just pour them on the table. You can really buy any of the expansions, but the Boba Fett is 3-player and the Maul is 2-player, and the next set, which comes out August 1st, is Thrawn and Dooku. And that's, again, it looks like they're only going to do 2-player sets from now on, just to make it more price acceptable, because each one's about like $10 per character.
I don't think I got the last one. Was there anything after Maul?
Is
No.
that the Cold Tactics board game? Because I'm looking at the Target website right now.
Correct. Cold Tactics, yeah.
And pre-orders are sold out. Shoot, pre-orders are sold out.
Are they really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, they are sold out.
Oh, geez. I've never had one sell out on me before, so I need to be concerned now.
Oh, I see the puzzle.
Oh,
that's cool.
I can't pick it up. I'm going to have it shipped. Oh, well. Let me see.
But yeah, that one, again, it looks, I'm not a fan of that cover, honestly, of Cold Tactics. I was kind of bummed because Ravensburger announced a new Disney one with the crab from Moana and the Jacks. Yeah, and
Tamatoa. I'm going to have to get that.
But the cover villain is the Pirates of the Caribbean squid guy. I really never watched Pirates of the Caribbean.
What?
Yeah, so it's...
That's
yeah,
cool.
I really don't care.
And the cool things about these sets, guys, is that if you play as Vader, like whatever villain you pick, you're playing against their heroes. So if you really like original trilogy like stuff, then you're gonna like Vader. If you like Clone Wars stuff, you're gonna like playing as Grievous because you're gonna fight against like Ahsoka and Obi-Wan and stuff. And like same thing for Maul. Everybody that Maul's fought against is gonna be in his set, and everybody
Rebels. Yeah, he fights against the Rebels. So.
With the Rebels and stuff. So that's pretty.
Phasma fights against the sequels. So and the card art's actually really good too. While Maul and Phasma are more difficult characters, they're hard to play with. The art looks amazing.
The ships, Ryan, the ships are only on the expansion sets, right? Not on the normal sets?
No, they all have their own, I think. Because that's the specialty because each set has each franchise has its own specialty. Like Disney Villainous is the plane where everything kind of the same. Marvel Villainous, you actually pool all your cards. You pool all your your hero cards together. So those are all pooled together. So we probably couldn't do that
one's
one
kind of
over.
hard to do. Yeah.
Yeah, but Star Wars Villainous is back to kind of originally. It matches more of the Disney Villainous, but it now has spaceships. So it's just kind of like a 5th spot to play something down. And, it has certain rules where if a hero ship is placed, you only draw 3 cards instead of 4, type of thing. So there's a bunch of other rules to it. It's nothing really too more difficult, especially for people just learning the game. But like Ron was asking, this game can easily take an hour almost per person on the first playthrough. So because you're not quite sure what to do until you get two people that know what they're doing, that literally just, oh, you go, okay, now I already know what I'm doing. Okay, now instead of looking, and you have 4 actions per board, or 2 if there's a hero there. And it's like you're trying to set up, it's just play cards, all right, end turn. Play cards, discard. So once you get the hang of it, it can easily go down to like, 20 minutes per player. So or less, 30 minutes for a 2-player game. If you both know the task, because each villain has its own task, so you can't just do the same thing. So
I think
obviously,
the first time that we all played, it was me, my wife, and my daughter, and I think we took like 3 hours because we just were trying to figure out how to play. Yeah,
just me and my wife was 2 hours, and there was a lot of discussions. There was a lot of reading the rules. So, but I've definitely gotten a lot quicker, and there's a fan-made solo version. That's probably the version I play the most. But that at least, it's not super difficult, but at least it gives you your play style, because you're playing against yourself and you're putting your own heroes down type of thing. So you have to make the game difficult for yourself. Otherwise, you can't just put all the heroes in one spot and be like, that was easy. So you make it difficult for yourself, but at least it trains you on what cards to look for. Like, you have to win within 20 turns if you're playing the solo version. So it's like it really helps you to skim down your playtime and get used to the cards that you're playing with. So,
but it's pretty if you're playing a 2B, it's pretty competitive, and like it gets fun, and so you don't really notice that you've been playing for like 3 hours. So once you get like really into it. But so don't let it throw you off if it seems like it's long. It does get streamlined, but so I don't know. Basically, like the game mechanics, you have your own board. And you have your own goal, so each villain has their goal, and so it'll give you like once you do XYZ, then you're done and you win the game. You're basically trying to like accomplish your goal before the other opponent does, because they'll have their own thing. So you can either just focus on your own thing, or you can do things to block the other person from completing their goal, and that's basically the whole like putting heroes on their side so they block things that they have to do and stuff like that. So. Yeah, it's each board is like tuned to like whatever that character is, so it's specific to like their. They did a really good job of like, like if you're Vader, then there's like Force stuff. If you're like Maul, then you're trying to sabotage people. Like it's pretty cool the way they did it, and like Ryan said, the artwork is really cool. Yeah,
Boba Fett has a lot of bounties.
Yeah,
it's a lot. There's a lot more thinking with that one. Like, I'm usually just like a run and gun type guy, but. Like I said, they are good. They do take a long time. So if you're going to dip your toes in, definitely only buy like one set and give it a try. If you can find people to play with, or obviously like when we play online, it'll take a minute for you to get used to it. But like I said, once you get used to the play style of a character you like, and if you practice on like the solo mode, you can honestly, as soon as it's your turn, you already know what 4 actions you want to make. Like, you don't even have to pay attention to the other board. So it's like, obviously you have to be worried if they're getting close to winning. You maybe want to stall them out a little more, but yeah, each thing is a little different, and it's nice. So
yeah, it's a fun game. I really like playing. We just usually have to carve out at least an hour to play with me and my daughter play.
Yeah. So like, if you guys wanted to play online, just to teach me what to do, that would be cool, because I've got 3 months with nothing to do.
Yeah. I mean, with 4 of us, that'd be a pretty cool game to have all 4 people play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You better be ready for 4 hours though, if 2 people haven't played before.
Yeah, I'm gonna say. I like my board games old school. I seriously think my last bit of any sort of Star Wars board gaming was the original OG 77 Kenner product Escape from Death Star board games.
I have that.
Believe it or not, I've played that too.
The traditional, a traditional form factor, long rectangular box like Monopoly and Stratego came in, just that traditional form factor board game. But there was one version of a Star Wars board game from back in the day called Destroy the Death Star game. And it was a large square. It was an odd box to have in the closet, because it just was a different shaped thing. Had these tiny little pieces, this clear little plexiglass thing. You put these tiny little red, and both of these games are old school in terms of 4 players with 4 different colors: red, green, yellow, and blue. And that Destroy the Death Star game, I remember being so much fun, because you had tiny little little plastic X-wings that just, the other game was cardboard cutouts of things, and the cards were neat, the tractor beams and the artwork on it, because again, we don't have the movie, so we're reliving things through these board games and the artwork that's on them and was on the cards. But the gameplay was definitely much simpler, much it wasn't hours of type of play or whatever. I don't remember the specific mechanics of either one of those games, collecting cards. A spinner. They were both classic spinners, that old school punch a thing through a piece of cardboard spinner. So no dice to lose, nothing like that. But they both had a cool element. And so this is what I wanted to say. They both had a neat element of two different parts to the gameplay. Like the escape from Death Star, you were running around the Death Star and you had to collect the tractor beam or the control panel. You had to collect things before you could then go and try to blow up the Death Star or whatever. You moved to a different area of the board and then you had to spin and try. And the Destroy the Death Star game, which was the big format square thing, whatever, had the same sort of thing. You were flying around the outside, and then once you collected enough things, or if you landed on the right space and the exact number of things, it was that style of gameplay, that style of board game. It wasn't a thinking type of thing. It was spin and see where you ended up type of. So it made for a quick, simple sort of gameplay that I just remember that as a kid, big time.
Yeah.
I gotta ask, Ron, I seen you posted some pictures. What's the one with the arrow that you flick?
That's the Escape the Death Star one.
That's Escape from the Death Star.
That's Escape, or just that's one's Escape? Okay, I gotta say, it's driving me crazy that the Death Star is upside down in that picture. And on the cover of the board. Like, it is legitimately freaking me out that Destroy the Death Star has an upside down Death Star, and the flicky board thing also has an upside down Death Star. So,
well, I think the flicky board. Let me look at the flicky board. The flicky board, you could orient it. Well, no, it does kind of look like that's how it's oriented. I'm going to suggest the game box itself has it upside, just because of the layout of the graphics that are on there. To put it oriented the correct way, it would have been off the screen, or it would have been out of frame kind of thing, whatever. I guess they could have put it in the bottom corner and had it shooting up, but that would have looked funny. But you know what, Ryan? In all these years, maybe I've noticed, and I'm just forgetting it, but in all these years, I don't think I've ever picked up on that. In terms of looking at this game, they can be readily had. Both games can be readily had on eBay for cheap. The Escape from Death Star was the first one. That's wicked common. They re-released that recently with a Grand Moff Tarkin figure inside the box as well. It's the exact same gameplay or whatever. The only pain in the butt about that is when you remove the figure, there's now a hole in the lid that the pieces can fall out. So it was literally, I think, sold as a way to get that collectible figure, because it was the only time Grand Moff Tarkin was ever released like that, versus the game, because if you take the figure out, then, like I say, your game box has a big giant hole for all the pieces to fall. It's funny. But this Destroy the Death Star game, to me, I think should be a little bit more rare and covet a little bit more of a price premium. But a quick search on eBay, don't really see it being that way. But board games were, I'm sure, produced like crazy. Everybody had them, and they're still in everybody's closet, not collectible. But I don't think I've ever noticed that game, that graphic on there with the Death Star like that being upside down.
Yeah, it's literally driving me nuts. And
looking at it, I can see it.
But you got to think, isn't in the original version they put the dish in the middle? Didn't they do something like that? They put so it's like
exactly. I suspect this is a whole Kenner thing, and printing the board game before the movie. Well, maybe not before, but after the movie success and going all that, and no one really realizes how it's supposed to be. But right, there was an iteration at one point in time where it was right smack in the middle, bisected by that equator trench type of thing or whatever. And I forget. I think it's explained, or maybe George. It was just one of those George. No, and he saw a couple different options and liked the one that was targeted on top. But they did in Rogue One, I think, right? They did address the dish being on top all the time. Visual that we've seen, that I think when they destroy Scarif, right? It's on the bottom.
Upside down, yeah.
It's on the bottom.
It's one of my favorite scenes in Star Wars, is that thing floating upside down, and I'm like, oh, finally they acknowledge that it can go in like any direction type of thing.
Right.
There's no north and south in space.
Yeah, but like as just a game type of thing, and everyone just pictures it with a dish, in the northern hemisphere. It's just weird to see it because it wasn't like that in the original movies. It only appeared in the northern hemisphere, except for when they're in their rebel meeting and it's in the center. But so I wonder if like they printed out a picture of this image and whatever game design guys is like, which way do I orient this? And he's just like, whatever, and he pastes it on there, and it's just upside down, and it's just like,
I don't think
whatever.
it looks like
it
they just
makes-
tried to make it look like it was aiming towards the ships, and they just like, oh, flip it this way.
Yeah, for the box art, it does make sense. But I just think, and Ryan talking about, it does make sense from a Rogue One standpoint and a movie standpoint. If it's a planet-killing space station, which it is, having it on the bottom seems to make more sense, because if it's floating above a planet, if it's in orbit of a planet, if you will, having the dish in the southern hemisphere to shoot down on the planet makes sense. I mean, space has no orientation, so you can go whichever way, but it feels like having it on the southern hemisphere makes more sense. Now I think about it.
That's your assumption if spaceships only fly in the northern hemisphere. You're forgetting we have a whole other hemisphere, Ron. So
touche. If they come in from the bottom, right? Yeah, you just shoot
from Brazil. They're going to want it on the north side to shoot up. So.
Touche. So yeah, those board games were my. I mean, I still have my originals from kids. I've since picked up like that collectible with the Tarkin, and probably have another version or two of the Destroy the Death Star game, because of just the art, the graphics. I mean, that's what we had to live for, and the gameplay. It was just that simplistic 70s. I mean, these are Kenner games. Parker Brothers eventually comes out with some games. I probably own just about every iteration of game, but the ones I played, these are the two that I've actually played in some way. There's an Empire Strikes Back board game. I own it, but I don't think I've ever had the opportunity to play it.
Of that one.
And the Ewok and Yoda games that were from the 80s, that were board games like that. Definitely, I'm aged out at that point, so I definitely didn't buy them or ever had a chance to play them.
Yeah, the Hawthorne
but they've
one,
made their share of board games
one.
over time.
The Hawthorne when they re-released it, came with the Luke pilot figure. So I actually
Empire came, and they did not. They overproduced. I think they overproduced the heck out of the Escape from Death Star with Grand Moff Tarkin. The Empire Strikes Back one, I think they learned a lesson. They did not produce quite as many of those. But I remember the Escape one got blown out at Ollie's, which is that discount store after they make their way through the stores, whatever. And finding that game for maybe all of $8 at Ollie's, and picking up a bunch of those for Halloween trick-or-treat fodder and
I got it on the cheap at Target, so when it was like...
It should tell you how simplistic the gameplay is that I was able to play it as like a 4 or 5 year old.
Yeah, no, that's the beauty of those games, is they were, once you learn the mechanics of them, which there wasn't much in the way of mechanics, what you had to do, where you had to go, and what it meant to collect the things and whatever. Yeah, they were just quick hit, fun.
I mean, when I was little,
kids.
because mine was my aunt's set. So when I was really little, like 3, I would just play with the figures like it was like they were toys. But once I got a little bit older and I learned to play the game. And
the one that I recently picked up, it's been a year or so, but I picked up something. I never saw it back in the day. Again, I've kind of aged out of Return of the Jedi from collecting things. I enjoyed the story, but buying anything like. But there was a Return of the Jedi Battle at the Sarlacc Pit game, and it's kind of what I've learned of it over the years. It's you had to sort of like build up the Sarlacc Pit before you even started the gameplay, right? It kind of had some 3D-ish aspect to where you built the board wasn't just a flat board, and I always thought that would have been a neat. I would like to try to play that or build it up to see what the gameplay is like. Whatever. Never heard anyone talk about it from is it a fun gameplay or anything like that. But just that said, if anyone ever sees that on TV, I'd highly recommend it, just because it's a cool, not just a flat board with pieces and spinners. It's got some building up to it. I no clue what the gameplay is about in that board.
Now that you say that, I that sort of vaguely rings a bell. Actually,
I just posted a picture of it. I found it.
And then I've definitely collected through the 90s, collected all those, the Star Wars Monopolies and the Star Wars. There was one. It was a board game, but it popularized. It was a thing back in the day, whatever, where it came with a video cassette tape. And you would pop that into your VCR, and it was kind of like the trivia shit type of thing. It was just.
Was it Seen It?
No, it wasn't the Seen It. It was the interactive video stuff. It was a Parker Brothers game that came with a VHS tape, And it was one of the, you had to hit fast forward or hit play at the right time and then hit pause and try to see what the answers was. It was a gimmicky thing, not gimmicky, but it was a gimmicky thing of the era that was the 90s that came with a videotape of stuff on it. It was
Star Wars, the interactive board game.
Yeah. But the one I definitely remember was a Parker Brothers. All the other stuff was Kenner's from the original, but the Parker Brothers Escape from Death Star. It came with a Han and Luke figure, and that was the era where Han and Luke were He-Man type figures. They were beefy and bulky, but that had a oh, you must get that because it had a collectible, seemingly collectible figures in the box, kind of like the Tarkin. I don't think they weren't carded; they were just in there in plastic trays or whatever. But it was a highly popular game to pick up. Again, I don't think I ever had the opportunity to play it. I just picked it up as a collectible. So I don't know its gameplay at all.
Well, for the VHS one, that looks kind of.
No, the one that had the Han and the Luke. There's some super rare, and I don't want to say rare, but one I've never seen out in the wild. I don't think I own it. There was a limited run Star Wars game from the 70s. That had Luke's face on it was the same sort of style board game in that traditional rectangular box and a maze, not a maze, what do you want to say? A path, like a Candyland type path where you're going through and doing things, whatever. But I don't think I've ever owned that one or played that one. I know I've seen it as I need to add it to my collection type of, again, pretty stuff, but I think it was after Empire. And again, sort of beyond my time as a kid or whatever, wanting the board games, collecting things. I was into collecting other things.
I like the Hawk game because you play as a snow speeder and they're different colors. It actually has like a little moving piece that's the snow speeders. I like that game. I think I played the Hoth game more than the Escape from the Death Star because I bought both of the retro ones.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah. No, I can't say I played. Yeah. Well, I just remember the retro one and that little card. It was a little plastic tab that you inserted the little cardboard, folded in half. Yeah. Like you had to build the games back. I think you still have to build the games these days, but you had to build your token. So you punched out that little cardboard yellow Luke and Leia figure or whatever it was, and then punched that out and stuck it to this little plastic tab, and that was your game piece. And we were excited as all heck fire to have this thing. Now the game pieces are fun, cool plastic, fading red to black tokens and cool things, pewter tokens and all that sort of stuff in the Monopoly games.
Ron, in the chat, I posted a picture of the Cell Barge one that you were talking about, and Star Wars Clue that I had picked up a couple years ago. The Star Wars Clue, it's kind of the same thing. You build it up. It's like a 2-level game. And so, like, the little figures are like Luke and Leia, Chewbacca, and stuff like that. And I think 3PO.
Oh, that is very cool. I don't think I've seen.
Yeah.
I might. I can't say I've seen.
Yeah.
That Clue game looks very cool.
Cool game, but it takes 3 people to play. So me and my daughter really don't play very often. But it is a fun game. We love playing Clue anyways. But
what is the game? Yeah, is the game mechanics Clue? It's Luke and the
you got to find the plans or whatever that are in a little hidden folder like Clue. You have to try to guess where the rebels are, something like that. So
you can looking through the pictures. It's not going to help anybody that might be listening to this, but just the pictures that have been posted via us or whatever. The games go from a very simple progression of a straight board with a couple of game pieces and spinners and some cards to whatever this latest game was. That it's just a myriad of stuff on the board here. That is, what's the one with the arch, Ricky? That's just all kinds of pieces, cards, and has an arch.
So the last bit. So I was just sharing some pictures of like the new, because you guys might have been playing board games for a little bit longer, but I've kind of branched out into board games more recently. So a lot of my board game experiences over the past 5 years. And what got me into board games, for one, was around COVID, there really wasn't much to do. I started to get into board games then, and I discovered, Star Wars is a love of ours. So I was like, let me find something Star Wars. And the one that popped up first is, it's off of Pandemic. Pandemic is one of the biggest, most popular offshoot board games there is. And by offshoot, I mean not Milton Bradley. So not Clue, not Monopoly, not Sorry.
Right.
It's the next step up. And there is a lot more rules to it. There is more planning. It's more of a strategy type thing. But there's the Star Wars... The Clone Wars. It's a spinoff of from the people that make Pandemic. So it's almost the same as Pandemic, and that's the one that kind of really got me into board games because that's just the style that I ended up really liking. So it's you could choose. If you're solo, you choose 2 heroes, but you can play, I think, with up to 4. But you each choose a hero. I don't have them all memorized, but it's like Ayla Sakura, you have Anakin, you have Obi, you have Yoda, you have Obi-Wan and stuff like that. So you could choose like 6 to 8 Mace Windu's in it, 6 to 8 heroes. And then you fight a villain, and it's Count Dooku, Grievous, Asajj, and I think one other, and Palpatine, I think. Well, maybe not Palpatine, but yeah. And you each independently go from planet to planet. So the image is just a big board full of planets that are all connected by lines. And this one, for me, works really well because it's a thing that I can play in my head. So it's you move your character from planet to planet, getting rid of droids and hunting down the villain, because the villain can also have like a sidekick. Like I think Grievous or Dooku automatically has Grievous and Asajj on the board also. So you go from planet to planet, and if you ignore the planets with droids, they become overrun, and you technically lose the game because Palpatine has overrun too many planets. So you have to strategize and go from planet to planet. You only have a certain amount of moves, clear out droids. So you have to free the planet, and you have to complete tasks. So on the image, there's like these 3 orange cards on the side of the boards. Like you have to complete a certain number of tasks before you can even attack the villain. And if you attack the villain early, he just goes back to a starting spot, and then you kind of run around the board. So if you ignore everything, it becomes too much. And that's how it is with the original Pandemic, is based on viruses. So if you, which is funny because it came out right before in like 2018. But like if you ignore it too much, you got to imagine like the virus overruns the whole planet. Well, that's how it is in Star Wars, The Clone Wars, is these droids overrun too many planets. You're punished for not taking over things. At the end of each turn, more droids are deployed. So it becomes a lot. And then you have certain color card clone warriors that you take around with you, and you use them to defeat, and your hero has certain abilities. So that's the type of one where it's a little bit more intense, but kind of like your Escape the Death Star. It's not just Monopoly. There's a lot more to do in it. So that one's good. But the one that you pointed out for the image that I have is Star Wars Outer Rim. Like this is known as a sandbox game, and this is on the higher end of gaming, right below tabletop gaming, where you need a table, you need a map, you have multiple levels, you have water traps, sand traps, you're on top of a building, and you have 100 minifigures in front of you. So like that's the top end of gaming. It's tabletop. But Outer Rim is known as a sandbox where you just do your own thing. It's designed for 2 people, but again, it has a solo mode where you literally go from one end of the galaxy, which is a big horseshoe shape. You go from planet to planet, and you win by collecting what's called fame. And you do that in whatever way you choose. So it could be buying and selling ships. It can be completing bounties. It could be clearing out planets. And you have to stay on the good side of 4 factions, which is like the Empire, the Rebels, the Syndicate, and the Hutts. You know, so you have to kind of be careful on how you play. And you can buy ships. You can upgrade your ship. You can buy crew members. Like you can get R2 to join you or anything like that. And you choose a certain hero like Han Solo. It's a lot of the original trilogy and maybe some Clone Wars characters, but you choose a character to play, and that character can have certain weapons. And that one's good. I really like that one, especially as solo. I usually need to set aside about an hour and a half time, just because you can get and you roll dice, and I kind of like the randomness of dice rolling games. It's the same with the Star Wars, The Clone Wars from Pandemic. You roll dice. So I like the randomness because it's exciting to roll. You're like, oh man, I really need this roll. And then it hits. You're like, yes. And you can pull something off. So that's the Outer Rim. It's like I said, you do a lot of bounties, or you buy and sell ships, or you free planets. So that's known as the sandbox because you win the way you want to win. And that one's really fun.
Is that multiplayer or is that 2-player?
It is. I know it's more than 2. I don't have my box.
That's fine. It's not a one-on-one type. It's not a battleship type of game where it's 1v1. It can be multiples in its space. And then the gameplay for that Outer Rim, which was the Arc picture that you did, right?
Yeah.
How long is the gameplay? It depends on how your strategy and all that, or
Yeah, like I said, if I play by myself, it's like an hour and a half. But I got a 3D printed set, so it comes out quicker now. So I can usually keep it about an hour. But again, I'm kind of messing around and doing a lot of different things with it. Just trying to do more bounties and stuff.
right. Cool.
But yeah, so that one's really good as far as like a sandbox. The Star Wars, the Clone Wars Pandemic is strictly a co-op. So you're not versing each other. You're just a team going against a villain trying to complete tasks. And then the Outer Rim is, again, it's one of those games where you don't have to straight up just attack the other player. You just do your own thing. If you run into each other, you can choose to attack, maybe knock out some of their cargo and stuff like that. Or you can choose to ignore them, just like you're a real bounty hunter. You're like, I'm just going to ignore them. Or if they have a crew member that you have a bounty for, that you have a bounty for, then you go hunt them. And it's like, that's why kind of the sandbox games are a lot bigger, because there's so many different things that you can do. But
I do like the Clone Wars
it's a little bit more advanced. And then the other game, I don't own this one, but again, this is just a different style for people. It's known as a storybook game. And again, I think it's by Ravensburger. It's the one with the coil in the middle, is that one. So the way that game works is it's just a big book, and you play through scenes. So the only two that I've seen are Lord of the Rings. Oh, there's actually a couple. I think there's Lord of the Rings. There might be like Wicket now, and there's The Mandalorian. And again, I don't own it, so I can't say for 100%, but that's, again, a co-op game. You play from the Mandalorian one would be you play the first season realistically, almost episode to episode. So you flip the page and you have to find Grogu, and you and in Mandalorian and Grief Karga, you can choose other characters, but those are the two recommended because you're playing the story and you rescue Grogu and you flip it. And then the next one is you have to maybe go, find someone to work on your ship or upgrade your ship. And it's more of a storybook game because you can literally stop playing after that page, close the book, pack it up, go back and just open up the next page when you're ready and just move it along. So if you like more of a storybook, more of a story driven, where the game kind of tells you this is the path you got to take, it just folds out like a big book, and then you can fold it away so you can play certain times if you want and call it good. So that's just a different type of game for people who may want different options for that sort of stuff. So
maybe that's the game that sparked a thought in me, Ryan. Which game, if we know you're the, but anyway, I'll throw it out to everyone. Obviously, which game is the closest? Maybe I do know the answer. Which is to a Dungeons and Dragon role playing type of game? There are those in Star Wars, right? They're not necessarily board games. That you buy the. That's a whole different Senate session, right?
There was one. Way back in the 90s, there was one produced by West End Games, I believe it was, and I played it very limitedly. I still have my West End Games book, the main book, somewhere around here. But a friend of mine introduced me when I was in high school, and he had like all the books and things, and that has tons of lore, tons of trivia, tons of stuff that now is canon, like Cyanar's being the one of the main ship producers.
What's the game?
It's literally the Star Wars role-playing game. That's what it's called.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen books for it at like Books A Million and stuff, but yeah, they do have Star Wars versions of role-playing games.
As soon as I asked it, I kind of realized, I do know there's role-playing, and that's those aren't board games in the vein of what we're trying to talk about here, type of thing.
Yeah.
So let's steer it back to the board games.
I have the main one that I bought at Disneyland sometime in the late 90s. It was a special edition produced for Disneyland. I wish I could find it, though. I don't know where I have it.
But yeah, I think of the three games that I kind of listed, the Clone Wars, the Mandalorian Storybook, and Outer Rim, I think the Clone Wars by Pandemic is probably the easiest one to pick up. Like I said, Pandemic the reason it's so popular is because it's the next step up in board games and still good to learn. So, and for them to have a spin-off is just fantastic. But that one's kind of easy to work with because you play together. So you don't have to hide your cards. You're not trying to beat anybody. You can kind of move about. You can be like, hey, can I get some of your red clone troopers? I'll give you some of my blues. and then I'll go take care of the spaceships. You could take care of that. So you literally play together, and that one's nice because you're not trying. I just like co-op games. If you're the kind of person that likes to beat people down, then that could be Villainous. That could be and there's bigger games. There's much bigger games like Imperial Assault and Star Wars Rebellion. Those are the tabletops. Those where you set out like 50 minifigures all over an entire table and you take 5 hours to play type of thing. That's like where it's your one-on-one, you're doing strategies and like trying to surround people.
Right.
Yeah, Shatterpoint is one of them too that kind of followed that. Once you cross like the $80 mark, that kind of becomes too big for me. And I'm like, like $60 is kind of my limit for board games. I did recently pay $80 for like a Ninja Turtle game, but that's coming and it's Kickstarter and that has nothing to do with Star Wars. But yeah, so that one's kind of like my top limit. So anything more than 60 becomes too big for me. But then it's like, hey, it's only a $60 game, but now I've bought in 4 of them. Like I have so many Villainous games now. I actually just had to combine because I know I'm getting Cold Tactics. I combined all 3 boxes into one big box just to kind of make more room for more board games coming.
I still like playing like Star Wars Sorry and Battleship and Operation. We'll play those just have a quick game.
Yeah, it should come as a surprise to nobody that my favorite one is Star Wars Trivial Pursuit. I mean, nobody in this room or nobody in this chat.
Yeah,
we got to set up
right. There's plenty of Star Wars branded thing. They branded everything, right? Operation, Sorry, Monopoly, geez.
Trivial Pursuit.
Yeah, Trivial Pursuit. Yeah, they branded it all and just threw something Star Wars on it. I think there's an R2D2 Trouble with the pop-up thing in the center. Yeah, they definitely linked the brand to all the classic games, which is fine.
Yeah, and I'm really not really a fan of those. They do have an off version of Monopoly where it's a round board instead of a square board. Me and Ricky talked about it in the original board game podcast a while ago, so I guess people can listen to that then. But that's kind of the only offshoot Monopoly game that I like that features Star Wars. But if it just slaps Star Wars on it, I'm not like super interested in it. I think there might be one
I
just got
a new Monopoly one last year and it was fun.
I guess, there is one where there's you hunt Grogu.
Yeah, that's the Mandalorian one. I have that one. Yeah, that's the Mandalorian Monopoly.
I like when Monopoly isn't Monopoly. It's just kind of loosely based Monopoly. They have a Fortnite version that's like Monopoly, but not Monopoly.
I have that one
You have other things to do. That one's actually really fun.
Yeah, you can build walls and stuff,
yeah, it's not Monopoly. You're literally trying to hunt down other people and kind of get them. And
I feel like those are like a board game with the Monopoly skin. Like they kind of took another board game, just called it Monopoly.
Yeah. I mean, the Trivial Pursuit one is fun because obviously it's all Star Wars based. It's all original.
Yeah.
The one version that I have is all original trilogy based.
Well,
and then because it was the one that was released right before Phantom Menace, and then it has that little bonus section of trivia cards that were targeted towards Phantom Menace, which was kind of pointless because nobody had seen the movie yet. But
yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, I think it's the same version that I have, Marie, except mine when I ordered it online from eBay, I think I bought it. It didn't come with the prequel cards. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, I have the prequel cards. So if you ever want to like just do a thing where we do like where we pull out the cards and just play, I can totally do that. I mean, I have the game sitting right under my bed right now.
Ryan, the one that you just got, is that like a newer one, or is that like?
What do you mean that I just got?
The Trivial Pursuit that you just got?
I think it was still like 2017 or something. It's not the newest one.
But it still has like Force Awakens probably on there.
Yeah, let me see exactly when that releases. I gotta move my Monopoly board game.
I still have my Star Wars Monopoly from Phantom Menace from '98 or '99. I guess it would have came out like before the movie.
Yeah, '99.
Yeah, that one's fun.
Yeah, this is 2016, so it's the year after Force Awakens.
Right after,
okay. That's a Trivial Pursuit game?
Yeah, I bought that at like a resale thing for like $5 because originally the whole do Trivial Pursuit thing between each other, I was like, yeah, let's do Trivial Pursuit. And then I was never able to find a board game, and then Ricky bought it, and then Ricky had and then Ricky threw the game instead of me. But yeah, so I bought that. So again, I could be playing because I'm terrible at trivia. I have no memory, but I'd happily run a game. It's another Trivial Pursuit. It's a new set of questions.
Did
so
Marie,
that's
Marie won last time, right? Who won? Who won?
I think it was me. I won one of them recently.
Did you win the Trivial Pursuit?
Because it was I won with the Boba Fett question.
I just remember they made fun of you for the Red 5 thing.
Remember, Ricky, we all had that pregame meeting or whatever, and we were going to let him...
We were going to try
we were going to let him win one for once. We felt sorry for him.
Hey, a pity win is still a win.
It's a W. It's a W. They don't ask how, they ask how many, right? Got the W.
Right. So, you guys, what we can do too is we can, I can just pull the set of cards, or one of us can pull a set of cards from Trivial Pursuit and just ask the questions, because they have that version of Trivial Pursuit now where it's not the board game or anything. It's just like seriously just the set of question cards, just so you can play it like during travel or whatever without having to do all the setting up the board game and.
I think
But we did for the chancellor. He loves that kind of stuff.
Yeah, last time we did it, I had just we each had to get a different color, right? We had to fill up the colors first. Whoever did it, I think that's how we did it last time. Yeah, so we didn't even. Use
They don't even have that anymore. I actually just bought that off of Amazon just to have something to do, because I am going to be bored for the next 2.5 months.
Yeah, if you want a solo board game, then like I'm the dude to talk to, because like I play a lot of solo board games. The Outer Rim will take up a lot of time. Like you can play that thing like 2 times and take up the whole day if you really want like a deep thinking game, but you have to be into reading directions. But if like a big direction book really turns you off type of thing, then Outer Rim maybe isn't it. But if you want to burn 3 months, like you can play 4 or 5 different characters all different ways. Same with Star Wars The Clone Wars by Pandemic. That one's a little bit easier to find. That one's at Target, and it's strictly a solo game. You play two-handed, aka 2 characters, but you just lay the cards out. You have 3 or 4 different villains. You have like 5 or 6 different heroes, so each play style is a little bit differently. But solo board games, and like I said, if you're getting Villainous, I can send you the video of how to play solo, and you can at least practice so you can understand how it is. So, but I mean, you obviously like trivia, so reading isn't a problem for you. So reading bigger, I'm not saying like a reading, but like some people just don't even want to read a Monopoly rule book. So you have to be able to read a rule book and be like, okay, I'll learn this.
Yeah, with board games, with me, usually it's just like I like the ones where you can just read the instructions and just kind of get into it and play. But, reading a little bit more and kind of really learning how it works doesn't bother me.
Yeah, and the good thing about Pandemic is you can kind of read the directions, but then on the board itself, and they give you a card too, but it lists each step because it's movement, but it's different type of movement. And then it's movement. It's like you have 2 actions, and it's either movement, here's your options, defeat droids or defeat ships, and like it kind of at least gives you basics, so you at least know the steps, and when you read the instruction booklet, then you know kind of the further steps in it. So Pandemic's a very accessible game, and the Star Wars version is just as accessible type of thing, easier to learn. Outer Rim is much bigger and more deeper. I have to keep the book open next to me type of thing.
So I feel like Clone Wars was a little complicated for me in the beginning, but we got the hang of it. That one in the deck building game. Did you ever get that one? The deck building is pretty fun too.
No, because that's a forced 2-player, and that's one me and you cannot play over video. So
I'm fortunate that my daughter likes to play board games, so we get one and we have to try to play it. So, so yeah, those are usually pretty good. God, what was the other? Oh, X-Wing. Me and Ryan had a competition of who can buy the most board games during the pandemic.
Yeah, we did. We bought a ton of them.
Yeah, I started playing Star Wars X-Wing, and then I think my daughter got kind of bored of that one because that one's a little bit complicated. That's more of one of those tabletop games with the figures and all that stuff.
That would have been X-Wing 2, right? Didn't they? There was an original release of X-Wing, and then they revamped it. It was like a red branded sort of box or logo, and then they rebranded it with blue or whatever. It was like a version 2 of it. They changed the gameplay, I think.
Did I think it changed again? After I started, because I bought the other ones on the cheap because they were like phasing those ones out. So, but I ended up getting the Falcon and stuff like that. But yeah, that one's fun. I just got to get back into that one again. But Yeah, you have to buy a lot of pieces and the figures and everything, and it takes a while to play and set up. You need a big
From
table.
a collectible, I've bought a lot of that X-wing stuff. Seeing a hobby shop going out of business, or just a Barnes and Noble or something getting out of those things and blowing those things out, and I bought a lot of those the cool shit, the pieces. Right, that's the thing with the game pieces and the different ships or whatever that you move around.
Yeah, the ships, and then you have to measure how distance of the flight path and all that stuff and everything.
Yeah. I mean, they were neat. My kid liked them. We have a big rug. We just make the rug the place to play area. Or you said, you can stand up at a table and you just kind of measure it out. They give you a laser blast if you're in certain angles. Yeah. And there's a quick version too. So it's just, here's the dice, here's the health and defense, and you just go after it. And that's the only version me and the kid play. There's a deeper, in-depth version where the ships have different abilities like rockets and other sorts, and I'm just like, nope, just attack, defense, fly around, and you just kind of do what you got to do. So there is definitely an easier version for it.
I feel like we kept going around in circles and we both got like, oh, what are we doing? We're playing.
Yeah, but with your 3 months off, Marie, learning board games will certainly help cure a lot of boredom. I do that all the time. I feel like I'm never bored because even if I'm home alone on a Friday while everyone's working and I have Fridays off, it's like, man, I don't know what to do. Nope. I literally have $500 worth of board games on the shelf. I pick one of them that I like and I just sit down and play, and I easily burn an hour to 3 hours depending on what game I choose, and that certainly helps move the day along a lot better. Board games, because I was laid off of work for 3 months for pandemic too, so like that certainly helped. That and Animal Crossing got me through a lot of boredom.
Yeah, Animal Crossing got me through being laid off. Not laid off. I was home during part of the pandemic when it first started because I was susceptible. So my doctor put me off.
Ryan, you never traded me oranges. That's how we kind of started talking, was through Animal Crossing.
Oh, really? Was it?
Yeah, because you had an Orange Island, I think, and I had... Crap, what was mine? I don't remember, but we were supposed to do a trade, and you would never be on the Switch when I was on there, so I'm like, oh, this guy Ryan's never on there.
Speaking of, I still have Animal Crossing. I want to start it over, so maybe if one of you guys is still playing or wants to play.
Oh, my house is probably like full of roaches right now.
I know, yeah. My island was completely destroyed, so I was just like, okay, well, I'm just gonna erase this island and start over.
Yeah, no, I still don't have a basement.
I just got on for my daughter because she was playing. She's like, hey, I need some bells. I'm like, well, let me jump on. And it's like, you woke up after 3 years and 7 months. I'm like, oh my gosh, man. And my hair's all messy and stuff like that.
I got pretty good with the customization. I had like a Jedi robe and I made Star Wars logos for shirts and stuff. Like it was fun.
Yeah, Ricky, I'm surprised you haven't talked about the Jar Jar Binks 3D game. It's the board game. Yeah, board game with Jar Jar on the front cover. Obviously in episode 1, during that crazy time where they just released anything and everything. Episode 1, there was a Jar Jar Binks 3D adventure game that got released that has Jar Jar prominently displayed on the front cover of it.
I'm gonna have to look that one up and get it.
Yeah, no, I'm surprised.
I've never seen that one.
I'm surprised you don't have that. And then we talk about Star Wars Monopoly. There was a Star Wars Monopoly, a Mandalorian version of the game.
Yeah.
And this is coming from me, the collector. There was a version of that game that had a stormtrooper figure included with it. You couldn't see it through the box or whatever. You had to know it was inside the box. It had like a starburst or whatever telling you that there was an exclusive figure. But there was like we talked about how they've branded everything, but there was a Star Wars Monopoly Mandalorian version of the game that got released after Mando that came with a retro stormtrooper figure, collectible figure as well.
Did that come with mine? I don't remember.
There's been a number of Monopoly iterations, but that one was Mandalorian based.
Yeah, no, I have the Mandalorian one. I got it as a present for my birthday, but
I'm sure I owned it. I never played it in the Star Wars version. I'm sure I would have loved to. I remember playing Risk as a kid back in the day, but there's a Star Wars Risk that I'm sure is the exact same sort of gameplay. It's one of those branded Star Wars things. So nothing different from a gameplay standpoint. It's just using Star Wars terms and locations, but I'm sure that would have been fun back in the day as a Star Wars fan to play.
Yeah, because on the one that I have, you have to like try to kidnap Grogu, or you have to protect him from being kidnapped. And then the stormtrooper figures go around the board trying to pick him up, and what's his name, Moff Gideon. So that's the one. I never saw the one with the figure. I'd have to see. I don't know, think that's the one I have. I'd have to look that up. I did find that Jar Jar one online right now, though. That looks pretty cool. I'm gonna have to. That's gonna be on my list now. It's like it's a pop-up game or something. Yeah.
Clearly, of just the era and the time we're in, everything's computer games, CD-based games. There's not many traditional board. I don't think I've seen a Force Awakens or anything modern era. Mandalorian probably the most recent thing we've seen, but even that was
it was Monopoly. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not, but still, just board games aren't a thing like they used to be. But the pandemic did help. I think create a bunch of games.
Simple ones aren't really that popular anymore because the people really don't play them with their kids. I mean, the only way your kid's going to get into them if you play with them with it. Then most adults don't. Like, this is kiddie stuff. I'm not going to do it. That's why I think now you got people like in the 20s and 30s and stuff that start playing like the more elaborate ones, like the Clone Wars.
Marie's old enough, but did you two, Ricky and Ryan, did you guys have an era where the board games were when my friends came? Granted, this is the
no. I'm talking about kids now.
We didn't have the internet and everything, but kids would come over to the house and we'd be bored and we'd play something outside, or but if it was we'd break out board games. We'd play Close Encounter. We'd play Star Wars. We'd play. We never played Monopoly because Monopoly took a long time, but that was the fun of you go over to somebody's house to see what board games they have, and you break them out.
Yeah.
I think that's a lost thing on kids these days.
It is.
It was a big one.
I had a Sega, so we went over and played video games with each other. Like, now my kids come over, they play Fortnite or something like that. They go outside and play or jump around or whatever. But the video games are the board games now.
No, every time we go over, like one of my relatives at like my brother's house, and my niece and nephew's gonna be there. My daughter loads up like a big those canvas Star Wars bags and puts like a whole bunch of board games in there and takes them off. So they'll play like Battleship and they'll play stuff like that, and she'll take like the Happy Little Dinosaurs game or the Unicorn game.
I find my younger nieces and nephews, they do, when I try to break it out, they a bit of an eye roll, but once they learn or figure out the gameplay, that's where I have to make sure I know how to play it, because if I'm sitting there trying to read the rules, I'll lose them. They're short attention span in this day and age. I'll lose them quick. But if I 100%. Refresh my memory and say, here's how to play, and show them how to play real quick and play a quick game to get the mechanics, and then, okay, let's play a real game. They're kind of like good with it. They have fun playing the board game. They don't want to do it the next night or anything or over and over again, but they have their fun with it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if the parents don't kind of show the kid, like, oh, this is what you do and this is the board game, then they won't really be.
Yeah, kids aren't right. Kids aren't going to glom to it. They have so many other distractions with their tablets, their phones.
Yeah, if you're just like, here's instructions, figure it out, and then you go walk outside and go hang out with the adults, and they're going to be like,
while technically not a board game, have you guys ever experienced or seen or played Top Trumps? Where it's a card game and you deal out cards to each other, and you throw your card down. It's kind of like War, basically, with a deck of cards.
It's a British game, and they had a Star Wars one when I was over there in 2016. I should have bought it.
I never heard of it.
I just remember being mad at it, playing it, because like I threw down Yoda, but he got trumped by Vader or Anakin. My kids threw it down, whatever, and he got trumped by it. I'm like, no, this game is crap. Yoda's not getting trumped by anyone. This is blasphemous. This isn't.
I've won every game.
Throw it out of the house. I didn't, but you know what I mean. I'm just like, no way.
Ron's like, I have Yoda. I win everything, and then nope, you get taken out by Count Dooku. That's funny. Oh wait, no, he didn't exist back then. Yeah, I've never seen that one. I've never seen the Top Trumps one.
When I went to Star Wars Celebration in 2016, which was in London, I saw it somewhere. It must have been at the Waterstones in the airport. I should have gotten it, but I didn't.
Yeah, anytime I would see like a simple board game, like when my daughter was, of course, when she was like really little, when Force Awakens came out and stuff like that, when they were having all this product come out, I would just snatch up any kiddie board game that was Star Wars skinned.
So, just to Marie, what about
Yes. Hello.
We lost it.
Communications interruption can only mean one thing.
Invasion.
Oh, no, we lost it. Well, so he gets back. I will highly recommend pick up those classics. Those classics are just so. The artwork on them. I put some of the cards from the original Escape from Death Star. It's
that brings back
nostalgia feel for me. Having this podcast and going back and through and looking at looking things up or whatever to try to find the instructions to the gameplay is just bringing so many memories of all that graphics and all that artwork. Because again, we didn't have a way rewatching the movies. It's still in the theater, so none of that stuff was the board games, the
Right.
cards. That's how we got to relive it like that. And so seeing all those cards and the graphics that were on the card, it was hand drawn stuff. It was just it's throwing back a bit of nostalgia, but I definitely remember the gameplay it was simple and fun. As a kid, so obviously it was easy, but simple and fun. But highly recommend it.
Yeah, that's all I
Gonna
used
have
to
to
do
pick
when
up
I was a kid. Like, well, it was in early '80s when I was a kid, by '80s and '90s. So like, all we had were board games. I mean, I had Atari and Sega and stuff like that too, but I used to love playing. I used to make my own board games
Well,
when I was
yeah.
a kid. I used
I
to
was
like
kind
make
of
a board and cut out I used to have like a Masters of the Universe board game that was just like the simple kind of like the figures were like the Escape of the Death Star one where you just put them in the little like standing peg thing. But yeah, I used to use the
Right.
bottoms and make my own
Right.
characters.
I mean, I was born in the mid 70s, so I'm right between you guys, and I had a little bit of Ron's experience and a little bit of Ricky's.
Yeah. It's always yeah, because I didn't have any Star Wars video games, so like
Yeah, I think really I did play the Atari Empire Strikes Back game a lot because my aunt
I
had
have
an
that one
Atari.
now. I bought one of those little
Um,
controllers that has the old games on there. And it has
yeah,
it on
and then when Star Wars the Star Wars video game for Nintendo came out,
there. Mhm.
that was a big deal.
Brian, are you back?
Eh,
Yeah, I'm here. It's just like disconnected, so I don't know what the heck happened.
You said my name and then nothing else happened. You were
Oh,
gonna
okay.
ask me a question, I think.
Yeah, I was wondering, are you planning on maybe reading or anything to take up a lot of time, or?
I'm planning on reading. I have like a little idea for an Etsy side hustle, so I'm kind of looking at doing things having to do with that because I have a whole bunch of beading supplies, so I want to make some jewelry.
Yeah.
And I came up with the idea to do a like a binary code bracelet where you have spell out messages with two colors in a bracelet, or like a like with you just choose two different colors of beads. You choose like a little spacer piece to go between each word, and then you spell it out in binary. I just have to find a translator to do that.
You find out if it
Oh,
speaks Bocce.
What's that?
Find out if it speaks Bocce.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yeah,
find that
they're
out,
real
right?
close to those binary load lifters. You should be able to find that easily.
Right.
Yeah, but obviously, if you have any books or anything you want to read, obviously just come back and ask us because, me and Ricky read a bunch. So,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't read a whole bunch of Star Wars, but I have a pretty good back collection of stuff that's on my Kindle, and I have some of the I've got the novelizations that I still for the movies that I still want to read through. I still have my original trilogy one, the Barnes and Noble one,
I
which
gotta
is
get
still
that
available if you
Thrawn
guys want to get
trilogy.
it.
I
you
gotta,
gotta read the offshoots. Like, if I
Yeah.
wanted to read about the movie, honestly, I just watch the movie. I like learning
Right,
about new
right.
characters. So, like, from a certain point of view books and, like, all the
Right.
good background stuff.
Yeah, I have all of those, but I like reading the novelizations because they always have extra stuff in them.
it's like deleted
Yeah.
scenes.
Yeah,
thing.
the stuff that made the cutting room floor usually.
Yeah, like when I go to like Goodwill or like Savers, I'll usually go to like some thrift store and like they'll have like old Star Wars books that were like offshoots or like Legends ones
Oh
that
yeah,
were not really.
they'll have tons.
And I'll get them like on the
I
cheap,
mean,
The
I have
artwork
to go to
alone
half
just looks
price
cool.
books.
Yeah,
I
and
have to
then-
go to half price books anyway because I have a bunch of books that I want to offload.
Mm.
So I'll probably find something, pick up something there.
Do you guys have do you have Barnes and Nobles out there? I know you probably do, Marie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like right across the street.
Okay. Yeah, tons
that's
of
what I
board
used
games.
to.
Those things are turning basically into board game stores now.
Yeah, it's great. I stop there every time at the board games.
All the villainous games
Oh
are
no,
there.
Barnes
Usually.
and Noble is awesome. My Sunday thing with my mom is just to like go in there and like find a book, like any book, any random book, just even stuff I haven't heard about, pick it up and then like go to the cafe in the back and
Hmm.
like chill and have a frappuccino or something and just hang out for a little bit and read my new book.
Oh, so you steal the book and you just borrow
No,
it?
no,
with
no, I don't
Bible
steal the
and
book,
then
I buy it.
Put it back on the shelf, thief.
No, 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 no. I buy the book and then take it back.
She like
to
grabs
Oh,
the
that's
kid and
funny.
has them like go like so she can get the free cookie.
If it didn't take me a month to read a book, I would certainly be stealing all the books and just putting them right back on the shelf.
Yeah.
You're like,
I mean, I
sir,
used
can you
to
please stop leaving
I used to be able
bookmarkers?
to I used to go to the one in Walnut Creek, which was 2 floors. I think they still have the Walnut Creek one, which is 2 floors,
Oh, wow.
but they moved it. And just like find a book and sit in a corner and just read it.
Yeah, but as far as filling out your 3 months, I think it's a lot of good time to catch some good books. Learning some board games is going to be really fun. Like I said, if you want, the Villainous does have a solo. Take your time reading the directions. Don't feel overwhelmed or anything. It's definitely the next step in board gaming is something like Horrified or something like Villainous, Pandemic. There's a gradual step to move away from Monopoly and Clue and random stuff like that, and then to like the bigger, more thinky stuff. Obviously, with you and your trivia, this will be easy for you. Just more, it'll take maybe a game or two to learn. A lot of them have solo versions, so you can easily pick up any of that, and you'll be good to go. And it's obviously I'll be there to help with any of them, like the Villainous. Ricky knows a bunch about it too.
Or Ryan, since they're gonna start selling them everywhere now, she can start doing unlimited.
Yeah, some Star Wars.
There's a game store right down the street, so I could even go there.
They're gonna start selling them at like Targets and WalMarts now. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not just for the elitist anymore.
Yeah, hey, we dovetail just a quick thing on Unlimited, Ryan, since it's not technically a board game. I don't think
it's a game.
The new releases, the new bases only are 28 points. Is that a thing?
With this next set, all common bases are 28 points because they have bonus abilities. So every base is, if you attack with a force unit, you gain the force, and you use that force token to gain extra abilities based on whatever character you have. So that's why it's 2 less health because it can make your character stronger. But now you have to build a more force deck, which works great for me because Anakin is one of my favorite leaders. And it's like Anakin, Ezra, Kanan, even though for some reason Sabine isn't a force character because, that BS where she randomly has the force now. Everybody's got the force. Sorry, I won't get into that with the Ahsoka series, but I'm sure that card will be coming down the road too. Sabine, Force, Jesus, whatever her title is now, I don't know, but
you can attack her and there's no damage. Right.
Okay, I saw a quick blurb of that. I'm like, oh wait, did they not like the 30? They wanted the gameplay to end quicker or something like that, but they didn't mention that it was because they have extra the bases give extra ability. Okay, I don't want to dovetail this into Unlimited for board gaming, but I wanted to ask that question while I had the audience.
Since the pre-release starts next week, again, it's all Legends of the Force. It's going to be a lot of Force characters. It's going to have a lot of new stuff with Force abilities, and nothing like Force Push, but like you'll be able to play extra abilities and planning. And I'm pretty hyped because the old feisty Goblin is having a really big, like nice prize pool with the tournaments. So if you just play 3 games, you get a collector pack, which is $25. So I'm going to go freaking nuts and try to stay there all day on, July 5th and 6th, whatever that Saturday and Sunday is for the pre-release. They're having an amazing prize pool, and I'm super excited to...
They better throw some lightsaber upgrades up in that set. We need some more lightsabers.
Yeah. A new Kylo Ren and everything, a new Rey. I'm excited for this set, and the ability to pull any High Republic cards is going to make me. They have a Nameless, they have Markion Rowe, they have an Avar Chris leader, so I'm super excited.
Ron's going to be like, "Who's this character?"
Yeah, I guess that's true. Yeah. That's true.
But yeah, we've been trying to do weekly here at the house. Just me and my daughter playing weekly Unlimited, so we can get back into it. Or like just keep up, when the next set comes out. So I finally beat her last weekend, so that was good.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah, she had beat me like 3 times in a row with her Rio pilot deck. I'm like,
that's surprising.
Yeah, no, she has like a bunch of cards in there loaded. I'm like, I couldn't pull anything last time, but no, this past time I actually did beat her pretty good. I have a Lando deck that I'm using, so.
That's another thing I could learn to do. Like if you guys wanted to sit down with me one day and just kind of walk me through it. I know there's an online version you can play.
There is, yeah. We have like Well, Ryan had the links for this. I think I still have them. I haven't did that in a while,
Yeah,
but yeah, you can make your own
force
decks
table and
practice.
stuff
Yeah.
is like you could just steal. That's what I do. I steal decks from other people. I practice with it, and then I change it to my play style. But there's just a lot more smarter people that understands TCGs than me. So it's
I like
you
that
know,
I
I just
can.
pull up again.
I like that I can build my actual deck in there and practice with it, and then just keep losing from
Yeah,
the CPU.
I've never done a trading card game in my life, so I would love to start.
Neither did I until about 2 years ago. So that's when I decided to learn.
Yeah, I mean, I have the old trading card game from like I think it was Attack of the Clones. I have a few sets, but I never learned how to actually play it.
So I guess this podcast is overall just for ways to cure your boredom. Board games is always good. Ways to get away from the phone. That's the original reason me and Ricky started to play board games. Whether it be solo or family time or online, I think board games is a great thing to go to. And if Star Wars helps you get into it, like it did with Pandemic, because that's the first thing I searched for was Star Wars and board games, that could definitely be for a lot. So I think this would be a good podcast for anybody. Just like before, just a way to get away from your phone, spend some face-to-face time with people. Or like I said, I play a lot of solo board games. I just put Star Wars on in the background and play Star Wars board games, and it makes for a happy couple hours for me. So this would be a good suggestion for anybody willing to play.
I'd echo that same sentiment, Ryan. That right, yeah. From a nostalgia standpoint, and to get the younger generation, to show them some of that sort of stuff. It's not going to last long. They're not going to want to keep playing it, type of thing, whatever. But to break out a good old fashioned board game on a rainy day, and just have that kind of fun with the littles. I think it's a valuable, it build some patience, build some rule understand. I don't know. I think there's some value to all the board game we played back in the day.
Especially if you have like little ones and like if you could start them on that path. Like now my daughter's like 13 and like every time we want to play a game, we're like, yeah, which one? And she gets all excited. And then we try to figure out for like an hour which board game we're going to play.
Yeah, my niece and nephew are 18 now, but when they were little, we used to teach them all kinds of, like board games and things like that. We played Yahtzee. We played this one called Pass the Pigs. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. Just all kinds of random games. They're not really Star Wars fans, so I can't get them into that. But like if I break out Pass the Pigs and say, "Do you guys want to play?" They're going to play because we used to play that for hours when we were kids. When they were kids.
It's good. Like me, I'm getting older. I'm turning 45 this year, so I'm like using my brain like more in that capacity.
Sorry.
God, you're ancient.
I know. I'm not a
Says the woman who's a few years older.
But no, even reading is good for your brain and doing crossword puzzles. But like board games, especially like this, where you have to think of strategies and all that stuff. Like it's
like
stuff,
the other thing I want to do is get back into knitting because and I could do like some crocheting and do like some crochet Star Wars figures or whatever. And while I'm here, I mean, I have arthritis in my hand now, so that kind of sucks. But I can work around it.
It sounds like you're almost going to be too busy with these 3 months off. So crocheting, board games, books, and Etsy. So you got a busy schedule.
Not necessarily a busy schedule, but I'm just trying to think of ways to like keep myself from getting completely bored.
Hey Ryan,
otherwise I will just sit here and watch movies all day.
Marie has a Switch. You can play Fortnite with us if you wanted to.
Yeah, if I wanted to, yeah.
That's free.
That's free, yeah.
So yeah, I think that's kind of like a good segment to go on. Board games are open for anybody type of thing. Play with your family, play with your friends, play with solo. Play by yourself.
Yeah,
find a game store.
Good for your mind, like you said, Ricky, or it's good for. It's something new for the kids. Like if I play with my nieces and nephews, they're all under 9. They get super excited when I bring over a Dungeons and Dragons game. Yeah. My son, who's like 13, he brings a friend over. They play Fortnite all the time. But when I offer that Monopoly Fortnite game, he drops that controller right away and he gets excited.
Oh, yeah,
so
kids still love the interaction and
the love for board games is still there. We as adults just have to get the kids back into it, and we need to stop blaming the kids because phones are fun. We use them ourselves, but let's get kids back into board games, and that's
really
a responsibility for us.
Or just get a group of grown-ups together and just start a board game night, like your friends or relatives or whatever. Like that's always a good idea.
My library just started that, and there have been a couple like teens, low 20s, and then upper 30s and 40s-year-old people. I haven't went in the past 2 months. I feel kind of bad, but life's busy. But saying that, Marie, I ought to get back to it. Just, because I brought some decent games that were new to people because they just go and be like, let's play Monopoly together. And I'm like, nah, I'm going to teach you Pandemic. Like, we're going to play some weird board games here.
Yeah,
I had to get back to that.
One of my card shops that's nearby a game store is like they like have a thing where you can just bring in any board game and like, if somebody else wants to play with you, then you have a spot to play. Like if you want to play Villainous with random people, they'll just bring it and somebody will sit down with you, So that's
Yeah, I'm actually kind of disappointed that this not Starbucks, this Barnes and Noble that they just built didn't build like a community room so you could do stuff like that. I don't think they're designed that way, but it would be nice if they did.
Barnes and Noble isn't.
Yeah, it would be nice if they did something like that so that you could like rent it out.
They have tiny tables too. They got tiny tables, so
yeah, the cafe is not a good place to do much of anything.
A lot of libraries are getting board game rentals, borrowing, I guess, especially probably bigger ones where you guys live. They have board games. Any card
no, I live in a tiny town.
If you have a card shop, a lot of the times they have free board games just to sit down and play. Literally every card shop I've ever been into, they all have a demo board game list. Obviously, you got to know the rules. You can just sit there and read for an hour if you want, and then play by yourself.
Like there's a boba tea place like down the street from me, like and they have board games in there. You can just sit in there. It's really nice to hang out in there.
I have a strip mall around the corner. I know that the Menchie's in that strip mall, they have like checkers and chess and those kinds of things there, and you could just bring a board game and play it. It's really
I have Star Wars
tiny,
chess too. That's always fun to play.
We have a card shop, it's called Games. It's like Games of Brentwood, or card and game shop. It's called Games of Brentwood. I should check it out. I keep saying that I'm going to go check it out, but I never do. And just go in there and see what I can find. There's the Barnes and Noble down the street. I have all kinds of stuff all around me.
Cool.
I just need to get out there and get into it.
Or order them on Amazon. They just come to your door.
Yeah, I order a lot of those things on Amazon.
I found some good deals.
I need social contact too.
Yeah.
It doesn't do to just sit at home and sit.
Yeah, it's always good to get a good board game and find a partner or a group and have game nights and stuff. That's always.
I used to go to this lady's house a long time ago. We would play Mexican Train dominoes. That was a lot of fun.
I learned how to play that. I don't know what the difference is. I played dominoes, but
yeah, it's a little bit different. It's a little bit more. It's actually really fun. You use these little plastic trains to denote your stations. And we got really into it. We even had those little train, they used to sell those little train whistles at like the dollar store. We got some of those so that we could announce that we were like building the train.
Oh my gosh. I played Ticket to Ride. That's really a fun board game too.
Yeah, it's a pretty popular one.
Ticket to Ride, that's a pretty popular one.
Yeah, that's a pretty popular one. Same with Catan. Those are kind of like those are like the monopolies of the board gaming world, where it's like Catan, Ticket to Ride, and Pandemic. Those are like the first games people kind of dip their toes in to get into like the bigger games. So
Ticket to Ride, that sounds very Beatlesy.
It's about trains.
Lots of way to fill out your boredom. So again, I highly recommend people find some board games, put on a good movie, and it takes some commitment because phones are fun, but. Board games,
but I don't want to be stuck to my phone for 2.5 months.
Yeah, I agree. But board gaming, asking about board games was a good idea, Marie, and hopefully this episode will pass on to other people.
Yeah, we'll have to set up when we can all play online for Villainous and show you guys how to play and stuff. That'd be fun. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is a great little chat.
Yeah. So I guess it's we'll see you guys next time. We'll try to have some more. We're trying to have some more frequent episodes come early, so that way you guys can have something to listen to over the summer. So, all right. So I guess it's goodbye from me and goodbye from Ron.
Cheers, everyone. Stay safe out there.
Goodbye from Marie.
Goodbye.
And goodbye from Ryan.
Bye, everyone. Play Star Wars Unlimited pre-release starting next week, July 5th. Bye.
Go switch off. I am the Senate.
Be sure to follow us online. We're at Facebook at PSW Senate. Join our PSW Star Wars Facebook group, where we all are in there interacting interacting. You can find us on Twitter at PSW Senate, on Instagram we're at PSW Senate Podcast, and on TikTok we're at PSW Senate Podcast. We look forward to hearing from you.
The Force will be with you, always.